Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a look at a new Pokemon search card. Now, this was translated by the lovely David Hochmann, and he's translated it as Bull. Not entirely sure what it's called. I want to call it GX Bull, but then you'd think GX would be in the name. So let's just call it Bull for now, and worry about the exact name later. What's far more interesting is what it actually does. And according to the lovely David Hochmann, what it does is it allows you to search your deck for a GX Pokemon and put it into your hand. It is just an item card that lets you search for any Pokemon GX and put it in your hand. And make no mistake about it, we need this card. We are heading into a format post-rotation where this is an extremely important card. Now, I've talked about this in a number of videos. I've gone through the rotation in a huge amount of detail. Got a few little videos left, but we've covered it pretty extensively. And the thing is that we're losing Nest Ball, which searches out your basics. And we're losing Ultra Ball, which searches out any Pokemon. And we're losing Timer Ball, which searches out your evolution Pokemon. We're losing all of our best Pokemon search options. Now, we're still going to have Professor Round's lecture, which is great if you want Pokemon with 60 HP or less, which there are no GXs even close. The closest is Dedenne, who's 100 more than that. And we're going to have Pokemaniac, which is great if you want to search out Pokemon with a retreat cost of exactly 4. And there are some GXs that have a retreat cost of exactly 4. And if you want them, brilliant. But no. Magikarp and Wailord, yes. The vast majority of them, no. That's a bit of a pain. And then, if you want lightning Pokemon, like the aforementioned Dedenne, like Zeraora, for instance, we are going to have Electromagnetic Radar. And Electromagnetic Radar is great, because it's just like Ultra Ball. You discard 2 cards from your hand, except instead of searching for any one Pokemon, you search for 2 Lightning GX or Lightning EX. So we got some options, but let's be clear about this. We don't have great options. We are missing that one search card that everyone's going to be using. Nest Ball and Ultra Ball were by far the best 2 we had. I mean, we're even losing Great Ball, for goodness sake. Now, this is not for every deck, but in any deck that relies on GX Pokemon, this is better than Ultra Ball. It just is. I mean, if we take something like our average Reshiram and Charizard deck, they usually play some non-GXs. So some of them at the moment play Shining Lugia, although that is going to be rotating. Some of them have started playing Arcanine, and some of them play Volcanion, and some of them play Salazzle. But actually, the deck revolves very heavily around Reshiram and Charizard. And then they generally have stuff like Dedenne or pre-rotation Tapu Lele to get themselves rolling, to get set up. Well, in a deck like that, this is going to be a really, really good card. Whereas if you take something like Zapdos, which is generally played with Jirachi, and then Ultra Beasts like Buzzwole and Nihilego, this is a completely and utterly pointless, stupid, useless, worthless garbage card, because it doesn't get you any of your Pokemon. Here's the thing though, I keep mentioning Dedenne, and Dedenne is a great card to talk about here. Because you see, Dedenne has what we call a coming into play ability. That is, when you play it from your hand onto your bench, you can discard your hand and draw a new hand of 6 cards. It gets you rolling. And up till now, we've only had Tapu Lele. Now we've got Dedenne as well, and though we're going to lose Tapu Lele at the rotation, we're still going to have Dedenne. And the crucial thing here is that this new Ball card puts Dedenne, or whatever Pokemon you choose to grab, into your hand, whereas Nest Ball puts it straight on the bench. And the thing is, if you use Nest Ball to put it straight on the bench, you don't get your coming into play abilities, because you're never playing the card from your hand onto your bench. Whereas if you play this, then you are playing it from your hand onto your bench, and then you get to have the coming into play ability. How many times, and if you've been playing the game a lot, like I have, I'm assuming the answer is many, but how many times have you had an Ultra Ball in hand, but you've either not had 2 cards to discard for Tapu Lele, or you've not had 2 cards that you're happy to discard to get Tapu Lele. The answer for me is many, many times. There's no problem here with this new ball card. You just get to search for the GX and you're off and rolling. So for Dedenne, it's amazing. And if you want to play Beast Box, now Beast Box is a deck that intrigues me greatly, because up till now we've had Naganadel, and the problem is that Naganadel does an extra 20 damage for each Ultra Beast you've got in play, which means if you play any consistency Pokemon like Zeb Striker, that's literally just taking 20 damage off the board. But now we're getting the new Naganadel GX, and the new Naganadel GX lets you once during your turn discard an Ultra Beast from your hand and draw 3 cards. And the thing is that Ultra Beasts have Ultra Space, which is a stadium that allows you to search for any Ultra Beast. So now all of a sudden you can use Ultra Space to search out your basics, but then you've got this new ball card. So you can use this to go and search an Naganadel GX, while using Ultra Space to go and grab your Buzzwole, and all of a sudden, let's not forget you've now got the discard a card, draw 3, and now you're absolutely crushing it here. You are just rolling along with a really, really consistent deck. And look, we are going to get more Pokemon Search printed. We've essentially got to get more Pokemon Search printed, otherwise the game will kind of grind to a halt. But the point is that in the short term, we don't have great Pokemon Search. So any deck that can rely on this is going to have a huge advantage. It literally gives GX decks an advantage over non-GX decks, which is something, well, with stuff like counter energy, we've been trying to reverse lately, because GXs really are very, very good. And while we're talking about Nihilego, another huge advantage here, it puts the Pokemon into your hand. So something like Naganadel, that has to discard an Ultra Beast from your hand in order to draw 3 cards, will work very, very nicely with this, because it's in your hand. Whereas something like Nest Ball wouldn't work. Something like Ultra Ball, you'd play an Ultra Ball to discard 2 cards to search a Pokemon to discard it to draw 3 cards. And that'll work. That's just a really awkward, annoying, silly interaction. Whereas here, you just essentially play this to draw 3 cards. There are so many good things about this. The only real downside, and it is a significant downside, is that it only gets GXs. The ideal situation here is that you can play a whole bunch of 60 HP Pokemon to search with Professor Elm's lecture, and then play this new ball card to go and search out your GXs, and that you get set up in that way. And for some decks, that'll work beautifully. But for some decks, it won't. So let's take something like Porygon Z. I adore the new Porygon Z. And one of the most fun decks I've seen in an extremely long time is Porygon Z. It lets you attach as many special energy as you like. So you play something like Rainbow Energy and Unit Energy, and then you play just a whole bunch of tag team GXs, Eevee and Snorlax and whichever other ones you like. And the thing is that Professor Owl's lecture is going to go and get you your Porygon. And then this will get you your tag team GXs. But what's getting you your Porygon Z? And that's what worries me here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if this completes the set, so to speak. I think it is a phenomenal card, which is going to see a huge amount of play, but I don't know if it alone solves our Pokemon searching woes. I mean, look, if you're playing something like Green Search, this is amazing, or Green's Exploration as it was translated. If you've got no Pokemon to play with an ability, you get to search for any 2 trainer cards. So you can use Green's Exploration to search for 2 of these and get 2 GXs. It's good. And look, if we compare it to something like Bridget, Bridget was a supporter card that let you search for 1 basic Pokemon EX and it went straight on your bench. This lets you search for 1 GX and it goes into your hand and it's an item card. This is a phenomenal card. Make no mistake about it. It is a phenomenal card. But I do worry whether we have enough Pokemon Search, because something like Porygon Z at the moment, I'm not 100% sure how I'm searching for it. But to focus on this particular card, I'm giving it between 4 and 5 Wassies. It is great, and I feel extremely confident it is going to see a huge amount of play. But I'd like to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.